Okay, Aaron Parker, Parker Safes and Vaults, Shelbyville, Tennessee. We'll have a look today at an American security product. This is the AmVault CE3524. So CE3524. And keep in mind that they make a CEV in all, the same sizes. And that one is going to be built overseas. So the CE series, I don't know where you can see that, but the CE series is built in the US and it's a TL-15 rated safe. And then their catalog here or online, you're looking at the CEV, also a TL-15 rated safe, but built overseas. So if you're looking for a US built product, look for the CE model, right? But this one is going to be 42 inches tall. So this model, the 3524, 42 inches tall. It's going to be 31 inches wide and then 29 and a half inches deep on the footprint. You need to add 2.5 inches. So keep that in mind whenever you're looking at safes, right? If you're the place where you want to put the safe in your home is tight, read this fine print right here. So this says add 2.5 inches to the depth, right? So if we add 2.5 inches, that'll take care of this side pull handle and all that. So 32 inches would be about as tight as you can get on this particular safe. You can take this hardware off, but it's a tedious job, to get everything off and put it back on. So anyway, 1,674 pounds on this. It has a 2 hour fire rating, and that's a rating at 1,850 degrees. So it's a really high fire rating. The TL-15 rating, if you're not familiar with that, that just means that it's been tested at Underwriter Laboratories. If you've not seen some of those tests, they're pretty rigorous tests. But what that means is a couple guys with tools tried to breach this safe for 15 minutes straight, and those guys they're pretty serious about it. They get after it, but they tried for 15 minutes and couldn't get in. So the reason for that generally is, of course, the construction. But like in this case, we've got we've got a body with 2 layers of steel, and then in between that steel, those 2 layers is like a concrete mixture, and that mixture has all kinds of proprietary stuff. They don't even tell me what's in there, um, which is the idea, right? Let's sink ships. So it's always a cat and mouse game with safe manufacturers and safe crackers and bad guys, right? So if they don't know what's in it, they have to do the exploratory stuff. And in this case, they have something like ceramic nuggets and wire fiber or mesh or stuff like that. So that should prevent or slow down torch, and maybe not torch, but tool attacks with grinders and cut off wheels and all that. Speaking of torch, so TL means tool, TR means torch. So if you're looking for an even more serious safe, you might look at a TLTR, right? Or TRTL. Sometimes they're called turtles, right? So TRTL, and what that means is that it's rated not only for tools but against torch attacks. So there are all these different levels, and I know it's confusing, but generally speaking, those ratings come into play when we have insurance companies that are trying to tell a store owner or even a homeowner how much safe they need to buy given what the insurance company wants to protect or wants to insure. So, for instance, if maybe if you had $50,000 worth of jewelry, a TL-15 would suffice. Some insurance companies are different in that regard. So, but that's kind of where that works, and the higher the higher monetary amount, then the higher rating you would need. Anyway, all right, enough of that. But let's see. So 1,674 pounds, 2 hour fire rating. Oh, this has a Group 1 lock that we put on. So Group 1 lock is a little different than a regular lock. If you're not familiar with a Group 1, there are different Group 1s. There's Group 1R, which means it's protected against like X-ray. But this Group 1, this particular model just means it's harder to manipulate. Right? You see the guys out there with the in the movies with the stethoscope and they're listening and they're the cup or whatever. Well, there are guys out there that are pretty good at that, right? Not a lot of them, but There's some. And what they're doing is they're listening for these contact points. And so if they can feel or hear those, they can eventually get the numbers figured out. So what the group one lock does is kind of prevent those guys from being able to feel that, or it should prevent them from being able to feel or hear that contact point. So it's a little different when you want to get in though. A regular group two, if you go through the numbers and then your last step, you just turn it to the right and it meets a stopping point and you're in. On a group one though, as you're going back to the right on that step 4, you go back to the right and then you have to stop at 0, push in and just let out. It's like spring loading. Push in, let out, then continue to turn to the stopping point and then you're in. All right. So a little different there. Inside here we've got, it comes with 2 shelves and then the shelves are all adjustable. You see these little slots here. So you can adjust it. Just looks like about every inch. So you can really get, some fine tuning with these shelves. But they give you 2 shelves. I didn't unwrap them. They're metal, and they just sit on these little clips right here, and adjustable. It comes with the hardware to mount it to the floor, and then little cover plates once you're done. So this safe comes with a little change key and then the instructions so that you can change your combination, and you would do that through this little change hole right over here. You pop this little button off, and then in there is the hole, and it's a little sequence there, but the instructions are in there. Kind of a cool door panel here. They've got a piano hinge, so if you need to access anything, you just take out these screws along the bottom, top, and the strike side, and then this whole panel just swings on a hinge. Also, when you're looking at TL ratings, you want to check out, make sure that the rating actually matches what you're buying, right? So for instance, there should always be an underwriter laboratory tag, like a metal placard here, that'll show you what it is. So if you're in the market for like a used safe or something like that, always look right here, because a lot of safes look the same, but they'll have a higher rating than what you might think sometimes, or less. Then it'll talk about the active hard plate and all that kind of stuff. All the hard plate is just that, so that you can't drill it as easy. It takes really specialized equipment, a drill rig, and everything to get to a hard plate. Let's see here. Station or active bolts on the strike side, and then stationary bolts on the inside, and that just on the hinge side here. Those go into these little sockets right here. Same way with the active bolts, they go into a nice little socket right here. And let's see. Yeah, the door is thick, 6 inches thick overall, but when you hear that, you don't always think, you can't think the whole thing is security, because this much of it is the bolt work. So that's where all your bolt works are, and your relockers and all that kind of stuff is in behind this panel, taking up this room right here where these bolts are. But this part, that's your security. And in this safe, it's a proprietary stuff. It's 2 layers of steel, and then in between that is like a poured in concrete type stuff that has all their stuff in it. And so it's I wish I could be more specific, but I can't. But it's basically nuggets of something, probably ceramic or something that makes it hard to grind or cut into, and steel fiber and that kind of stuff. So it's just trying to cut into this on the body and the door, or pry it. They have resistance against like peeling attack as well. They're trying to peel layers off. They've got that all thought out too. But yeah, very, very secure safe. Nice heavy safe. 1,674 pounds, if I didn't mention that. And it's kind of cool when you shut this door, like if you had an electronic lock on it, when you shut the door, if you watch the handle, it automatically rolls the bolts. So once the bolts are rolled, if you had an electronic lock, that would be locked. In the case of a mechanical lock, you do have to spin this off. So, you have to turn it, 4 or 5 times, and then it would be locked. Right? Hinges are, they're all oiled up bearing hinges, and they're greased up, I think, kind of for life. They're impregnated, and but it's even for a big heavy door, it's nice. Let's see what else on this. That might be it. Yep, built in the U.S. So if you're looking for a TL rated safe, this one might fit the bill. This is the CE3524. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But I appreciate you having a look.